I call Tracy Martin.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. So I rise to provide New Zealand First contribution on the Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Bill No. 2. And New Zealand First will be supporting the bill. First of all, can I also add my congratulations to Ross Robertson, who had a landslide victory in the Otara Papatoetoe local board elections, 2,000 votes ahead of his closest competitor. And I know that he will do, knowing the job and knowing the man, I know he will do an exceptionally good job on representing that local board area and the work that it must do. Can I also congratulate Penny Webster, who is the Rodney councillor, and returning local board members for the Rodney local board, Steve Garner, Brenda Steele, James Colville, Thomas Grace, and the new member, Phelan Piri. It was interesting to Mr Twyford, and I just want to make some comments about Mr Twyford's contribution to this bill, and with regard to the delegations, and with regard to his minimising the true powers that the local boards have. And Ms Beaumont, I think, better summarised, actually, the work that local boards have done, certain local boards have done. And, for example, while there are delegations certainly around parks, around libraries, around reserves, the land use delegations are often held by local boards. The local boards do have budgets in their own rights, which they use for things, and the Rodney local board, for example, is funding night school. In 2009, the Rodney local board area lost all night school, all adult and community education, with the cuts by the national government to that particular budget line. The Rodney local board has funded in the last financial year the restarting of adult and community education in the Warkworth area. This year they will restart adult and community education in Helensville, and next year they will restart adult and community education in Wellsford. So those are budget lines that the local boards have. They've also dealing with youth employment issues in their area. They're partnering with Ngāti Whātua Ngārima o Kaipara around a joint housing project where the Unitec will be coming into Helensville. They have purchased some of the houses from Hobsonville, which are now behind the college there. The Unitec will come in, and partnering with Ngāti Whātua will be running their pre-apprenticeship building course in Helensville, because there's no public transport out of Helensville for anybody to go to any technical college. So there are many things that the local boards do, and they have done well in the 3-year period that they have been in place. They certainly need the delegations to continue, and as my colleague Ms Roche said, particularly as the new board members will be sworn in within the next 14 days. I would, however, suggest that I know that the governing body and the local boards, in the non-hierarchical co-governance model, which is Auckland, it is not a two-tier model, it is not a senior-lower model, and we certainly don't need a parliamentary model, because this is about local communities, not about party politics. And again, I disagree with Mr Twyford. I think if you have a local ticket, that's fine, but I think it's deeply saddening that party politics from Parliament has actually ended up around what are local body electorates, which are supposed to be about communities and people who work hard in their communities representing them. So again, I disagree with Mr Twyford on that. I think perhaps Mr Twyford needs to talk to somebody on the local board outside his own party, possibly. And I would recommend that during the discussions that the next governing body and the next local boards have around these delegations, and the movement of more delegations, coming to government asking for more delegations to be handed down to the local boards, which is a conversation that has been taking place over the last 3 years, that the staff inside the amalgamated city do not continue moves to have the chairs of the local boards created into mini mayors, and this is a move that is concerning around these other conversations. It might be administratively easier, but it is certainly not democratically better So I think the new board members and new governing body members need to strongly watch for those sort of moves. But at the end of the day, this system, while the 2 rural areas should have remained out of the amalgamated Auckland, Rodney should not have been pulled into Auckland, nor should have Franklin. At the end of the day, for the more urban part of Auckland, this is working well. The 2 rural areas have been exceptionally effective in taking that voice to the governing body and making sure that we argue back for the things that our rural areas need, but there's a lot more work to be done there. The true place where the government needs to and the parliament needs to set its mind to is around the CCOs. And if this model was to be rolled out anywhere else in the country, firstly, I would strongly suggest they wait another 3 years and see how Auckland works. But the model around the CCOs must be altered. The governing body and the local boards seem to have lost control of what are called council-controlled organisations. So when this bill comes back, because I believe it will, then that is one of the things I hope to see in the amendments. But at this stage, New Zealand First will definitely be supporting this bill.
I call Maggie Berry.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I rise to speak to the third reading of the Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Bill number 2. Having spoken at the previous readings and having had many of the points covered tonight, I'm going to focus my call on really looking at some of the aspects of this that need to go through. I sit on the Local Government and Environment Select Committee that heard the single submission on this particular piece of legislation. Everybody supported it. The Auckland Council, which was the only people who submitted, were very happy about it. The committee reported the bill back without amendment. All's good there. The model of the local board is working well in Auckland.